Hello, hello. Welcome to RamGoatAstrology. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Helena. Welcome to this part of the something, whatever you call this space that we're in,
The internet space.
the internet, the world,
Yes.
the ethers.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We are ready to talk about the next month already. You know, since we've switched our podcast to being twice a month, it feels like it flies.
Yeah, it feels like I cannot, now I can't imagine releasing an episode every week. Like, who has time for that? Who has time for that? Ah, but actually, this time with this transits for May, we're going to be releasing it in two parts. So we're releasing this is the first part. Second part will be out a couple of days, maybe a week later.
Yeah.
Maybe that sounds good.
Give
Yeah,
you a little bit of time to digest because sometimes if we throw it all at you at once, it's a little bit too much. And for us recording, it just felt better to just record part of it. So that's what we're
yeah,
doing today.
yeah. But yeah, honestly, I cannot. I had to check twice. Like, is it really correct that it's time for May? Could it be?
It is.
And yeah,
It
it
is.
sure is.
Man, it's going fast. We are almost a month past my birthday. My baby boy has already turned 2, and my first baby boy is about to turn 16. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is
Whoa.
mind bending.
That is mind bending. A
Really.
man,
For
becoming
real.
a man.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah. We're working on shaving and all of the things. Yeah. Yep. He borrows his father's clothing frequently now.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Very,
Oh,
very trippy to be like holding a little boy and then like hugging my big boy. I'm like, what is
the two
happening?
worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a mind bend at what time is and what time does. And the father's time, Saturn, is currently parked on top of my natal Mercury, which is a once every 30-year transit. So it's a big deal, right? Like it's not
Mm.
just the Saturn transits we got to pay attention to, but this is sitting on a personal planet of mine. And it's very much making me hyper aware of time and my mind and how I use time and how I think about time and how I surrender to time or become like the slave of time. It's very interesting. This has been my thoughts for like the last week that Saturn's been parked on my mind. Very Saturnian thoughts.
Yeah. And right now we just talked a little bit before we started recording. This is a heavy week for everyone. There's a
Mhm.
lot of Pluto stuff. Mars is opposing Pluto again now. We're talking on the 23rd of April. But I remember when we recorded April and seeing that like things are starting to move fast. And I guess that's why it feels like April it just started and now we're already at the end of the month. And it's just been so much energy in April. Like there's been like I cannot keep up. And that's like
Yes.
I feel like that's true to Aries energies. Like it's just a fireball and you literally can't keep up because it's just leading and like running. It's just running away from us and you just have to try and stay
What
with it.
what's really trippy is to have my identity there, but also at the same time feel like I can't keep up with my own self. That's mind bending.
Mm.
Is this angsty feeling I'm getting lately of like all of the things I know I can, want to, and will do because I know myself and wanting to do them like all right now, but then like knowing like I can't keep up with myself and I have 5 humans and 4 dogs and donkeys and goats and a human and a husband and like there's just I got
Yeah.
Laura breathe. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So my solar return chart has Saturn as the first planet in the daily routines house.
All right.
And he's like,
Oh.
whoa, Nelly, chill out. You get to just walk one step at a time. Take your time. But
And you were Taurus rising?
it's causing this angst. No, it would
Did you have a
be
Taurus rising this year?
Libra rising.
But I've had a feeling you had a lot of Taurus.
No, just crazy
No?
plan just
All
your
right.
Uranus is the only one this year in Taurus for me. So my nervous system, I get to transform my nervous system. Eighth house Taurus energy. So Saturn, I think, is helping
Yeah.
me with that assignment of like, take your time. There is no time. You're not in a hurry. You don't have to do everything right now, Laura. It's okay. And I have to remind myself of this. And I think that's what's happening with the transits in the sky, with my birth assignment, just with everything.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I'm
It's
grateful.
so
I'm
much.
grateful the sun has taken a few steps into Taurus now, and we can
Yeah.
smell the roses or the crocuses or whatever flowers are blooming wherever you are.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like I mean, that was a mouthful of astrology talk from us, and I hope you guys understood a little bit. Like sometimes language can just be so, because we speak astrology and sort of hoping that people, like if you don't know the terminology we're using, like just Google the terminology. It's not hard once you start getting a couple
Mm-hmm.
of words. Um, but yeah, uh, my mind is also like blah. Because this morning I sat down and just looked at my chart, like what is going on now? I had to have like a real astrology check in with myself.
I
And
do
I
that
feel
too.
like, yeah, it's actually so good for like um it's self-care. It really is. So I urge everyone to pull up their chart. It doesn't matter if you know everything there or not. Like something's going to draw your attention. Just like that is really like landing within yourself. Just look at your chart, what's pulling your attention, and like, oof, go within there. Because that is really for me this morning. It was really like landing, taking a step back, and like, okay, what is going on right now? What do we have here?
Right. And then
Yeah.
remind yourself that the chart is like a musical piece. It's an unfolding of energy, right? It doesn't all just happen to us at once. We have these musical players that play at different times, and while they're playing, other instruments are resting, right? Or they have a lesser part, and these instruments have more of a part, and it's always a changing musical piece. And so our job is to grow into that energy and that music and that vibration, and then each year we get a new assignment to kind of add a new layer and a new dimension and a new understanding of who we are, and we get to grow into
Yeah.
that musical piece. It's like a new composition or a new opus each year, right? You have this whole symphony made up of lots of different opuses, and that's really what our life is here in Earth School. It's really just beautiful music, and sometimes it's dissonance and discord, and it's hard, and it's fighting and argument and stomping and the tubas and the trombones and the timpanis, right? And that's why we do what we do, so we can help you understand when there's conflict in the sky, which is why we do these transit readings, because that conflict may or may not affect you profoundly. Sometimes you can just skip right through it, and your chart is like, nope, I avoided that shit show. Look at that. Woohoo. All right. And then you turn around, you're like, oh, whoa, look at that one coming, right? Like
Mm.
different transits hit people differently. So when we do these transit readings, it's helpful to just take note of certain days where you're like, ooh, those astrologer ladies mentioned this day might be a little bit rough, right? And then you just can surrender to whatever comes that day and feel the energy of that music or that frequency that day. That's why I do
Mm.
astrology, because it is so helpful to do those check-ins and be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What song am I supposed to be playing right now? What conflict is supposed to be happening? Okay, there is supposed to be conflict at this part, right? And then there's the
Yeah.
beautiful resolution after, and then there's, right? It's a movement. That's what it is. We're all in a
Yeah.
movement. So if you don't like the piece you're playing right now, it's okay. It'll change. I promise you, it'll
Yeah.
shift. So we have to help you understand what is shifting in the skies. So for May, we got some stuff coming up in May. We're going to go through Taurus section in May, and we'll pause before Gemini. So we'll just go through the Taurus section. So May 1st is a little bit quiet. And then we start off May 2nd with Venus, who is now back in Aries. So she's moved herself back into Aries, and she is merging again, once again, with Neptune. And so this is, I think, a lovely way to start the month off. It feels very, again, in tune. There's like a frequency of harmony, and oh, this feels lovely. And Venus is going back forward, so she's not in that retrograde motion, and Neptune's just kind of stretching his wings out into the Aries energy. And getting the vibe there. So I think this feels great. What do you like about this?
I mean, Venus and Neptune, if we're talking like music, they play a similar
Mhm.
sort of style of music.
Yeah.
Both Venus and Neptune are very romantic, dreamy energies. Venus is more based on, values, and Neptune is more a little bit more, floaty, disappearing, and like, oh, did that? Like disappearing
A little bit
into
in the creative
someplace else.
realm, the imaginary realm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what can happen here, what would work together here is, yeah, like you mix your values, partnerships, friendships, all of these relationships are also very Venus themed. So doing something like romantic, I mean, I think you can do romantic things, it doesn't have to be with your partner. Like you can, sit like get a picnic with a friend and read poetry, like
Oh, for
just
sure.
be in like romance land with some kind of other person that you enjoy spending time with, or yeah, getting creative. Like this would be a perfect day to just let your intuition take charge of your creativity, because
Hmm.
this you could get lots of creativeness out.
This feels like
Okay.
a project starting day or a project like I- initiation day or something like that needs to come out of you, whether you've been itching to get your hands in the garden and create a new garden bed, or whether you've been itching to get that new canvas out, or you got a chunk of wood and you got a chainsaw, you want to carve that chunk of wood. This is a great day to really initiate, right? Of course, Aries loves to start something new, and it's the it's the sign that pulls the imagination from Pisces into the
Mm,
tangibility of Taurus. So Aries is that in between. It's the action of the doing, of the bringing it into life. So this is a phenomenal time to start something creative,
yeah.
romantic, beautiful, whatever
I would
feels
say,
good. It needs to feel good to you.
yeah, yeah, it's all about the senses with Venus, like enjoy something. But I would say like maybe be a little bit wary of spending a lot of money.
Heck yeah.
This is a time where your finances can just disappear into the ether with Neptune, because you're like, oh my God, I had no idea it cost that much. Or like you just for some reason think that you can afford something that you really
Yep.
can't afford.
Yep.
Also, I would say not a perfect day to have a first date with someone,
No.
because you can't really see so clearly. Like hang out with people you know.
This could be if you are dating somebody new or whatnot, where you could create imagination stories about them, good or bad, but you could make things up about them
Oh
in your
yeah.
head and create illusions and literally start to believe the story that you made up. And then that down the road can lead to a whole lot of
Hmm.
discombobulation. So, yeah, I agree with that one. Don't start dating anybody or go on a new date with somebody on May 2nd. No. May
Mm-mm.
4th, our good pal Pluto, who's been trekking nicely into Aquarius, Pluto's going to pause and start his descent backwards. He's going retrograde for a little while. He will be then heading backwards for a couple months. So, this is an opportunity to reflect. Retrogrades equal reflect. Take a
Yeah.
time to just look back, just like you're leaving the hotel room. You go back in and you reflect for a moment. You check under the beds, you check the counters, make sure you got your shampoo. You just take a moment to go back in and check. That's what I love about
Yeah.
retrogrades. They give us this
Mm.
opportunity to see what we thought about that taste. Did we like it? Does it need extra salt? What do we like about that piece of music? Maybe we should go back and try it again, play it again
Mm.
with
And I
a
think this one, it's Pluto, so Pluto's moving very, very slowly. And Pluto just ingressed into Aquarius not too long ago. It dipped his toes in here like a year or so ago, and then back into Capricorn.
yep.
And now, like probably all of you Astro heads know, now Pluto is in Aquarius, and it's a huge deal. And what will happen now is Pluto is going to go backwards, but not all the way to Capricorn. It will just head backwards in Aquarius and then start moving forward in Aquarius. So I think what's going to happen now is that we're going to see a lot of evaluation of all of the big, huge transformations that Pluto has been making in Aquarius.
Yep.
Because it's been a lot, especially for the States, because you're having or had your Pluto return. So now you're going to revisit that. So what happened in the States and every like the whole world that who were affected by whatever the
We
States
all
does.
know what's happening.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go back and revisit that and see, like, yeah, like you said, retrogrades, they are about like redoing, rethinking. So that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna
It is.
pause the heavy transformation and go back and be like, did we really do that in a good way? Can we
try again? Yeah.
Can we try another type of transformation? Like Pluto is transformation, is heavy, deep work.
It's almost like you get like a telescope, and with 10x telescope or microscope, right? A microscope with 10x microscopic abilities, and you get to go in and you go 10 times deeper, and you're like, okay, cool, wow, saw a lot of different stuff. And then the retrograde happens, and you back up and you come back into kind of like, okay, where was I, what was going on? And then someone hands you like 100x microscope, and you put that on your microscope, and you look, and whoa, now you can go 100 times deeper into your cells and into who you are, and you see a whole other world. I feel like that's what we get this opportunity to do, especially with Pluto. Pluto transformation is, it's from the inside of us. Uranus transformation is like, pew, like lightning from the outside. Pluto comes from like the sacral region, like deep inside. That's why I'm like talking about the microscope. I feel like that's really what we're doing, is we're using the Aquarian energy of knowledge, right? Aquarius is so brilliant with knowledge, and we're using it with this deep, intense, microscopic ability of Pluto to go deep inside and see what really is wrong with our system, what really is broken with our system, and where are the cracks, and how can we, as a unit, as a community, as a country, as a state, as a whatever, how can we band together to heal and fix these cracks? And the cracks are obviously the government. That's the whole damn thing. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen now, essentially for the next 6 months. So Pluto will go retrograde May 4th until October 14th is when he goes direct again. So he goes back to 1 degree and 22 minutes. And then he turns around October 14th and goes direct. So we have a just under 6 months to really consider where our inner power comes from, how we're using it, and what we can do to make changes that we didn't do the first time around.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting that it's going back all the way back to the first degrees. Like first is storming into Aquarius, like here I am, let's reshape society and or the collective, and then just going all the way back and like, yeah, let's give it a try.
And that's really what happened here.
The top.
That's really what happened here, right? Love it or hate it. That's what happened here is they stormed the government and like took chainsaws and sledgehammers and just demolished it all. And well, now we got some cleanups to do. So it should be really interesting
times
how this gets rebuilt and what this looks like.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but that's going on May 4th and May 5th. Mercury is our friendly planet that moves quite quickly. He's in Aries now as well. He'll be having a lovely conversation, a sextile conversation with Jupiter, who is in Gemini. So this is great. Jupiter's on my rising sign today when we record this. I'm excited about this. He's been on my rising sign, and then he went back into my 12th house for a while. Now he's finally back on my rising sign. And for those that don't know, Jupiter takes about 12 years to go around the zodiac. So it's a pretty significant occurrence when he comes on a personal planet or a personal aspect like your rising sign. So pay attention to those and use those wisely, right? Show up in that big, bold way that Jupiter's asking. So with Mercury and Aries having a lovely conversation with Jupiter, this just boosts that ability to communicate and be friendly and optimistic and open-minded and making new friends and socializing and networking and growing your connections and your contacts list. So this is
very quick-witted.
Yeah, real quick. really great day. May 5th. What am I doing May 5th? My brain's like, what's happening that day? I should be doing something. That's a Saturday. No, it's not. I lie. That was April. May 5th is a Monday. May 5th is a Monday. I'll do something that day. I like that.
I'm sure you will. That sounds good. That's a good plan.
I like that.
Let's go with that.
And then the next day, the Tuesday, May 6th, we've got Venus, who's in Aries, and she's having a lovely, easy sextile conversation with Pluto in Aquarius. So we have
retrograding Pluto now, yeah.
Yep. So we have that air and fire energy. Now this time Venus is in Aries going forward, and Pluto's in Aquarius going retrograde. So they've had conversations a couple times now, but they're doing it again. They're doing another dance. So for those of you who are in relationship with anyone, this is a shakeup. This is a little like not necessarily a bad shakeup, but it gives it attention. Relationships, money, that all needs to get a shakeup. Whether how you're making money, how you're doing relationship, there's some type of energetic like infusion from Pluto. So this is really intense because Pluto's intense. So it could be something beneficial happening in the relationship, like, oh, you get going on a trip, or you get engaged, or you get a promotion, or it could be something where you suddenly are like, this relationship isn't for me, and now I'm suddenly going to leave, right? Like it could be the energies can go either way, but there's going to be activity.
Yeah. Pluto is very powerful. The energy of Pluto is so powerful, and it has to do with power as well. Like it's so I'm thinking also that sextiles are so easy to they just happen, and like they're so easy breezy, so you barely notice them. Yeah. And
but I think we should pay attention to them because they're so easy. Course. You don't notice them, but it's almost like, you know, like in the war, there's tons of women who were spies for people, but they didn't think that the women would sneak in and just easy breezy just do the thing because weren't looking for it. Right. This is an energy that you have to pay attention to because you can really use it to a great extent. Like this day would be a phenomenal day to ask for a raise or increase your prices or anything like that. Like this would be like, I'm going to reevaluate, which is Pluto, and Venus is in Aries, value myself better. My needs.
Self-worth and power.
Yeah. So May 6th is an easy day where you could utilize that energy in business to ask for a raise or raise your prices or something like that. But if you don't know about this energy, it could just breeze right by.
Yeah. Yeah. Pluto is also, let's move on. Mercury. I love Pluto.
May 10th. I know, I do too. We talk a lot about Pluto.
Yeah.
Mercury, May 10th, enters into Taurus.
Yes.
I'm really excited about this one. I need this to happen.
Yeah, I definitely I don't have any planets in Taurus. I need some Taurus time, just like you, like getting the planet of communication and of also like public transport.
Yeah.
Computers, all of that communication. It's nice that I feel like, I mean, in the best world, this could mean that we all get to land and everything will function in a steady way. 1, 2, 3.
We all get to land and eat good food.
Yeah.
I do need some Mercury in Taurus because it does help our brains, like you said, land and create a sense of stableness. Right? Oh.
Yeah. Practicality also.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, and with Mercury going from Aries Pisces into Aries, retrograding from Aries into Pisces, then Pisces back into Aries, and doing all of that with all of those other planets there. It was a lot of energy and a lot with our brains and a lot with our communication. And this is giving us a chance for real to breathe and really consider practical approaches to things and real world answers and solutions instead of Pisces and Aries, which, don't get me wrong, they're definitely real world, but not really.
Yes, I get what you mean. And we don't have like any other Earth energy except for
No.
crazy Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus, and we're very done with that
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
So very welcome. I feel like this is a very welcome energy to, yeah, to put our minds
Absolutely.
down into the earth, to ground us a little bit.
Yeah, we need that. Thank you, May 10th. So May 10th, that's when Mercury jumps in there for a few weeks. And then May 12th, we have our first full moon of the month. This is a full moon in Scorpio, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
So the sun in Taurus, the moon opposite in Scorpio. So transformation,
Mm.
transformation, secrets coming up, dark shit coming up from inside of you that you don't really want to deal with. And if you are like my husband, who I call it his annual purge, he has like a big emotional purge like once a year.
Mm.
This is a great time to do it. If that's the kind of person you are and you rock that nice good purge once a year, try to shoot for around the full moon, because
Yeah.
this is so supportive for helping you puke out your emotional guts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, full moons are all about like I can't help to think. I've heard it once, I'll never forget it. That during full moons, like if you have parasite living in your body somewhere, during the full moon is when they really come alive and like lay all their eggs and like rah, they get really active. Anyway, not astrology. Well, it is astrology for
Well,
the
yeah, because
for
it
parasites too.
definitely affects you. And as a health coach, we could have we'll do a whole show on that. Like we could do a whole show on health and astrology. We should do a couple of them, because
Yeah.
you're not wrong that health issues increase around full moon because of the pull on our bodily fluids. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And for those of you who have children or work with the elderly or animals, it
Mm.
affects their personalities 100%. So
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah,
This
and
is a
this
big full moon.
it is, it is. And full moons are all about like everything comes to the surface, like everything is activated in our bodies. And because it's the moon, it's all about emotions,
Yep.
to emote. So I always like, yeah, the word lunatic, of course, it's from the full moon because people go moon crazy.
You go moon
And
loony. Yep.
yeah, and this is when the police has extra much to do, is when the ER is usually a little bit more packed than most days. Like this, it's just a lot of activity around full moons. And I think it's good to know about them because then you can just let your feelings go through you and not try and repress them and then explode into some kind of anger thing and then do something like smash a car or I don't know that you're
Right.
gonna regret later. Like
Yeah.
the place is more important things to do than that, I'm sure, in the
For
the
real though.
hospitals as well. Yes, yes, like take a little bit responsibility, please, of your feelings. Like you don't need to go out and destroy stuff or like say nasty stuff to each other. Remember, it's a full moon. You're gonna emote.
Yep.
Do that in a safe space, please.
Yes. And that same
Yeah.
day Mercury is in Taurus, and that he's going to be square to Pluto. So we kind of have a square tension, inner tension between that intense planet of power and the way we
Oh,
communicate. So this is going to be
yeah.
supportive of foot and mouth syndrome. So if you're feeling emotional because of the full moon, this Mercury square Pluto transit isn't going to help you keep your mouth shut.
No, you might say something that really hurts
Yeah.
because Pluto finds that thing that is way too deep.
And Aquarius is smart. And then
Yeah.
Mercury and Taurus can be very bull in China shop. So just be real. May 12th, everybody, circle your calendar and focus on kindness as best as you can and emoting in the healthiest way possible, and do not be mean to people with your words.
Exactly, because this can be also such an amazing experience.
Yes.
So amazing. It's all about release on full moon. So it always with everything with astrology, it just depends on how we use the energy.
100%. So we've got a couple days to manage that after the 12th. Breathe for a few days, rest, journal, go for walks, whatever you need to do. Then May 16th, our friend Ceres, our planet of nourishment and how we nurture and take care of ourselves. I call her our self-care planet. She moves into Aries. So she's been joining all of those planets at the end of Pisces, early Aries. She's kind of come in here and joined everybody, asking everybody to be hyper aware of how they're taking care of themselves. Do you need to take better care of yourself emotionally, physically, nutritionally? Do you need to eat better, take better supplements? Do you need to move better? For me, it's been movement. I need to move better. And when Ceres moves into Aries, she can help you with more physical stuff, that active energy of taking action to go to the gym or to go out for a walk with your bestie or whatever. So that's a good thing.
Nice.
All right. Then what do
And
we got
then,
left?
well, here's a big one. On May 17th, Sun in Taurus will be conjunct to Uranus in Taurus. And this is, I don't know exactly what degree this is on, but it's very late degrees of Taurus. Because, like you all know, Uranus has been in Taurus for a long time, since 2017, was
Late
it?
2018, I think.
18?
Early
18?
2018. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is happening actually on, let's see, 20, around 26, 27 degrees. So late-ish. I mean, it's not the final degrees yet, but it's getting there. And Uranus is a planet that likes to shake things up, likes to really wake up our nervous systems and throw in some like sudden changes from the side that you didn't see coming. And the sun is your vitality. So just like what I see here, first of all, is like, yes, take care of your bodies, take care of your health. Like don't try and be calm, because this could be a day when you could feel quite triggered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this looks like an easy trigger day. If you're not aware of your nervous system triggers, take time to become aware of them. This is
Yeah.
a really big deal for most of humanity, honestly, especially with those of us living in the States and what we're dealing with our country, uh, the support systems, the safety systems, the safety nets. All of those are being defunded. So there's a lot of people panicking right now. Their nervous systems are in overdrive, and this doesn't support that. We need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to maintain ourself minute by minute, right? And sometimes that's how we get through. This is going to be a really interesting one. I'm curious to see how this shows up, because that Mercury in Taurus square to Mars in Leo that same day. So we've got these two
True.
transits. So the sun in Taurus is conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And then we've got Mercury in Taurus square to the planet of fight in Leo. Now, Taurus and Leo are fixed, stubborn signs. So when we've got squares between planets in fixed signs, we have extra stubbornness going on. So just kind of take that as you will, right? If you've got children or people that you deal with, like this can be a tough day, you guys. This can be a really tough day where our nervous system is triggered and fights can happen. So be just hyper diligent this day, that you get up and go for a walk, you get quality food in you so that your blood sugar is stable. You listen to positive things. Don't, the news might be really triggering for your mind. Square to Mars and Leo, Mercury in that square. So what do you see with this whole day? Any other suggestions?
Well, I'm thinking about this Mercury Mars square, and Mars being in Leo, I see that like it's a fire sign, it's a fire planet, it just wants to move fast and make changes happen. And then Mercury in Taurus really wants to think things through. So it's also that tension within us and within society that we want to take action, we want to go ahead and do something,
Yep.
do this, make this change, but damn, we have to do the details first. And that's probably going to feel very stressful with Uranus, with the sun there. So I'm thinking like, because it's the sun conjunction to Uranus in Taurus, and because everything Uranus has been doing in Taurus, flipping over everything, food system, safety, security, finances.
Yep.
I'm thinking like, what are we going to hear around these dates, what's going to be happening globally that we are feeling that we like something's going to happen, and it can be something positive, it can be something not so positive, we don't know, but for sure we're going to want to make things happen fast. But Mercury in Taurus is going to be like, you can't do that, you have to think things through first.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one to kind of energy to end the Taurus season with before then May 20th, when we step into Gemini, the sun moving into Gemini. So we're gonna leave you on a cliffhanger here.
Pause on that.
It's a cliffhanger episode. I love it.
It's a cliffhanger for me too.
I love it. We never do cliffhangers. This is great.
No.
This is an interesting one.
Next.
So everybody, for the month, I feel like May 12th and May 17th are the days to just circle in your calendar and just take a moment those days to really be aware of your own energy. Do everything you can to take care of yourself and your needs so that you can tend to others in a kind, compassionate, and bucket-filled way. If your bucket is empty, if your plugs are in overdrive and your circuitry is overloaded, you're not going to be the best version of yourself, and that energy will just spark and ripple to everyone. So I think if I have any advice for you for the first part of May 12th and May 17th, take care of yourself big time and make sure you're really tending to your needs and that your bucket, emotional, physical, spiritual bucket, is full.
Yeah, and take care of those textiles. Sextiles on the 4th and 5th, the textiles. Take care of them too. But also the sextiles between, we have the Mercury, Jupiter, we have the Venus and Pluto on the 5th and the 6th. Because like we said, those are easy. They can just swing by and like you won't even notice. But yeah, make sure that you do something with this energy.
Yes. All right. Well, we will be back with the rest of May's transits. So stay tuned and you can plan for your month and help your family flow in the best of your ability. And thank you so much for listening to us. If you want to support us, you can buy us a tea or coffee, link below. And if you want to be on the show or have any ideas for shows, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Just leave a note in the comments. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us this week. Be sure to like and support the show by sharing with a friend or joining us on Patreon. And you can buy us a tea or coffee and financially support us. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated.